Hey everyone, I'm Jared, the host of This Week in Rideshare, but today we're doing something a little bit different. I have Bryant Greening. He's a personal injury attorney, and he's launching a new service to help Amazon workers after accidents and injury claims. This is a big deal. So without further ado, Bryant Greening. Hey, how are you? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Jared. It's really great to be back.
Yeah, this is exciting. You know, obviously, a lot of drivers and gig workers know about you from Legal Rideshare. But now you're launching a new service. And before we get into the new service that you're offering, I do want to just kind of recap, how you started in this as a personal injury attorney, and the kind of the birth and the growth of Legal Rideshare first.
Yeah, no, it's kind of a fun story. So, Legal Rideshare is the first law firm in the United States that's entirely dedicated to rideshare and gig work related accident and injury claims. And we started almost a decade ago when rideshare drivers were coming to me saying, "This is a new industry. This is a place where nobody else is answering questions about what happens if I get involved in an accident. What are the insurance implications? I'm injured. How do I get my medical bills paid for? How do I get my wage loss recovered? All sorts of things that nobody really had answers to because Uber and Lyft were new on the scene and the law and the legal industry hadn't really caught up. So I started taking these calls and answering these questions, and Legal Rideshare was birthed as a result. And I started driving for Uber and Lyft to really understand what my clients were going through. And 10 years later, here we are, we're still serving that community and putting big money into drivers' pockets when, the inevitable happens, when they get injured on the job.
Yeah, and Legal Rideshare really has become the voice for gig workers, Uber and Lyft and all the drivers. And it's you stepped up first, and you really created this helpful, positive resource for drivers. And now, and we have discussed this off camera, we're starting to see kind of the same concerns that Amazon workers have. And so you decided, okay, it's time to step up and start helping the Amazon workers. Can you explain what you're doing and what this new service is?
Yeah, that's exactly right. So Amazon Accident is a new service that we're now providing, which offers help, assistance, answers, and representation to Amazon workers who are injured on the job. So we've been fielding similar calls from people who work at Amazon warehouses, flex drivers, people who drive the big rigs, you name it. If you are doing work on behalf of Amazon and you get injured on the job, we're here to be a resource for you, because as we found, there's not really anybody else answering those questions. And with our experience in this industry, we're excited to be a resource for the injured worker when something goes wrong.
Yeah, and I kind of want to dive into that. I think this is really important, especially for the audience out there, the Amazon workers, the ones in the factories, the flex drivers. What specifically does Amazon Accident handle? What are the services?
So we are a personal injury law firm, and we handle bodily injury claims, workers' compensation claims, occupational hazard claims. So what does that mean in normal talk? So if you get injured on the job, whether you're on the road or in the warehouse, you have recourse. You have the ability to collect money to get your medical bills paid for. You are entitled to compensation for your lost wages. You're also entitled to money for what we call pain and suffering and loss of normal life. So when you can't do things that you normally can do without pain, you get compensated for that. And you need somebody to fight for you to ensure that the insurance companies are not offering you less than what you're entitled to, that somebody holds the company's feet to the fire to make sure that they're not trying to direct you down a path that can ultimately hurt your claim or kill your claim. And our lawyers are skilled in making sure that we jump through all those hoops, that we provide explanation, and that we ultimately really fight on your behalf to get you everything that you're entitled to.
We've talked about this a lot in length before with Legal Rideshare, but I think it is absolutely vital to bring this up again, especially for, again, Amazon workers who are watching this and going, okay, well, I can just do this myself, right? Like I have insurance and I can deal with this. I think it's important to you for you to clarify, what is the difference versus doing it yourself and hiring Amazon Accident?
Well, there's two things. One, doing it yourself. Say you do everything correctly. You don't make any mistakes. You don't miss any of the, dotting of the I's, crossing of the T's that you need to in an insurance claim. It's all but certain that the insurance company is going to offer you less than what a lawyer can offer. We step in, we know how to talk the talk with the insurance companies, and that adds real value to your case. I've told people before that have come to us, if they have a case that they don't need a lawyer for, I tell them how to handle it, I tell them what to do, and the consultation's free. I'm not in the business of handling a case for you that you don't need representation for. But I can tell you 9 times out of 10, when I hear the facts of a case, I'm going to be able to add value that somebody who doesn't do this every day wouldn't even know, the right questions to ask or the right elements of damages to claim. We talk the talk, we walk the walk, and we're able to get the insurance companies to pay up. The other thing, as I somewhat alluded to, is a lot of times if you do something yourself in terms of a workers' compensation claim, a personal injury claim, there are loopholes that you don't even know about. There are landmines out there that if you step into it, you could kill your whole case and not even know. For instance, in workers' compensation claims, there are certain notice requirements. You've got to put the company on notice in a formal way. And if you don't do that the right way, you're never going to see compensation. So lawyers like Legal Rideshare, like Amazon Accident, we're able to ensure that you don't miss any of those steps to protect your claim and ultimately have a successful result.
I think that's really important what you had just said. And there's just so many, it's not just the loopholes. It's like you said, the landmines that you step in that kill the case. And so many times we have dealt with this in the past. And it's so important to just call us and figure out if we can or cannot help. And you made a good point there. And it also brings me up to really my next question, which, Amazon offers a plethora of job opportunities from, the flex to DSP and warehouse. Can you explain what the difference is between those and what, insurance claims that you can kind of look for?
Well, really, it's what is available to the worker if they're injured on the job. So if we go back to my Legal Rideshare work, gig workers are not really entitled to anything from the company if they're injured on the job because of their independent contractor status. They have auto insurance that they can tap into, but things like workers' compensation, occupational hazard policies, those don't really apply to gig workers. When we talk about Amazon workers, there's a plethora of types of workers that fall into that work. The flex driver tends to be more of like a gig worker who's covered by the auto insurance policy. The DSP and then the warehouse workers, they are often considered more times like full-time employees. That's going to allow them to tap into, one, the auto policy if something happens on the road, or two, workers' compensation or occupational hazard policies that the companies or DSPs provide. So when you are injured on the job, whether it's a slip and fall at the factory or a repetitive injury, say you've been bending down and picking up boxes over and over and over, and now you've got a herniated disc in your back, these types of things can be covered by a variety of insurance policies. And our lawyers are there to make sure that you're tapping into each different level of coverage that you can. Sometimes you've got multiple policies that can provide coverage to you that just stack on top of each other, or they can provide different types of benefits. So, what we're doing here is we're making sure that you're following the money so that everything that you've lost can be compensated for plus. We want to make sure that there's money in your pocket at the end of this case.
Got it. Okay, so if someone does have an issue, concern, an injury, or an accident, what's the best way to reach Amazon Accident?
So you can reach us through our website, amazonaccident.com. All of our contact information is there. We really encourage that the worker reaches out to us as soon as something happens. It's better to consult with an attorney right away than wait too long. So amazonaccident.com, please don't hesitate. Worst case scenario, I give you some free information and you go on your way. Otherwise, we're going to be able to help you out and ensure that you're protected when this unfortunate event occurs.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Brian. I really appreciate your time. Guys, remember, amazonaccident.com. If you have any questions, reach out to us. And of course, I will see you next week for This Week in Rideshare.